What's going on, everybody? UFC Vegas 9 in the books. And for the first time in a long time, I don't have to come here and sound like a little bitch boy feeling bad for myself. Worked out better. Of course, it was a card that was super chalky. And then within that chalk was a couple guys that almost blew the whole thing. So it wasn't like it was easy sailing. And from a prop standpoint, that was kind of where most of the action was. And thankfully, at least those top four tickets hit. Bottom line, though, is when you look at this week, it's a 12 fight card and went 9-3 overall. Last week, it's a 12 fight card. I also went 9-3. It's a guy like Rebecca can ruin all of last week for you. Whereas this week, at least the guys on the top and the guys just below that kind of all did their part. Anyways, like I said, bunch of split decisions. I think we got lucky on a couple of them. So wasn't super easy all around. And yeah, let's just figure out kind of who was the trustworthy. Definitely want to play that again, and who are the maybe going to fade this guy going forward the next time. Starting with someone that you could always fade, kind of in both of these guys, would be Eric McConico versus Cody Brundage. I think because it was super short notice, they were going up to 205 pounds. It was announced like the week of the fights or like 10 days out of the fights. This was probably going to just play out closer to a 50-50 fight was the bottom line. Cody Brundage has way more experience in the UFC. He's fought at a higher level. He's got better wins than Eric McConico. McConico's a little bit older as well. It's a sophomore outing. Like I could see all the reasons why Brundage probably should have been the favorite, but you knew it was going to play out closer to 50-50 fight. And that's basically what happened. So, I mean, it's more of a system play. You're going with McConico because it's plus money, and he could win the fight, but if he doesn't win right away, it could be a grease. And that's kind of what it played out. Again, you look like $1,000,000 in the first few seconds of this fight. McConico basically drops Brundage in the first round. There's no accredited knockdown, but I mean, he does kind of hit him with a good shot early, puts Brundage down. They clinch up. The rest of the round is honestly Brundage controlling him. You see the 1-for-4 on takedowns at 2.5 minutes of control time. Not all that control time was on the floor. A lot of it was up, standing cage control. But Brundage is a little bit faster. He hits a little bit harder. He's kind of waiting on this right hand. And the end of the first round is Brundage throwing like a 4 or 5 punch combination, most of it which got blocked, but McConico didn't do shit. He landed 3 strikes the whole round. One of them looked real good, and it happens like, within the first 45 seconds, first minute of the round. And I think because, Brundage himself didn't do a ton, it was enough to justify why that one big punch was more than the takedown in the 2.5 minutes of control time. So McConico wins the first round, but there's a real good argument here that Brundage won the first round. Just I'm basing it on the optics of that one shot, really. Second round, it's much of the same for McConico. Like if you watch him on the regional scene, this guy's a volume puncher. A lot of his finishes will come like a lot later in the fight. He really just wears his opponents down. His fight with Maki Pitolo, these, third round body shots. And I kind of thought if he can get Brundage to the third round, Brundage is going to be gassed out. After that second round, you can see Brundage is starting to run on fumes. This is McConico's chance. Didn't have to cut weight. Fights at 205. This is his chance, but I mean, he's on short notice too, and I just don't think he was really able to capitalize. So he lets the second round mostly slip away from him. Brundage goes 2 for 3 on takedowns, almost 3 minutes of control time, does outland him. This thing's 1-1. And there's an argument that McConico is down 2 rounds, right? Just depending on how you're judging this thing and looking at it. I got it 1-1, but I'm not going to fault it if it's the other way. So third round, it's like, okay, well, go and get me that TKO in. The TKO prop is plus 450. And the third round TKO prop was plus 2,500. So it's like, go out and put it on him. In the start of the round, it looks like McConico's wanting to do that. He's throwing a little more. You see, volume-wise, he throws the most in round 3. He lands the most in round 3. But I think he got tired, but halfway through round 3, all of a sudden, it's like Brundage got a second wind. And then he starts throwing those overhand rights, and he's moving his feet a little bit. He shoots no takedowns. Like, he's kind of done with that aspect of the game, but I think he's kind of doing a good job of evading. Bottom line is this third round, even though I score it maybe slight edge for McConico, and I got him winning the fight slight edge, there's a world that exists that Brundage has won all 3 rounds or has won 2 of the rounds. And there's a world that exists that McConico has won. I don't think he won the second, but it was a close round too. What I'm trying to get at here is that nothing really happened in this fight. And therefore, it's a 50-50 fight. And therefore, it could go either way and you're not going to complain. But that's why McConico was the right side, the right bet, because he was the only guy that was plus money in this thing. The flip side of that, Brundage is like minus 160. Like, why would you ever bet Brundage over the favorite? Well, he's got the factor of maybe getting you disqualified. So that's always in play. Although this fight, to Brundage's credit, there was no fouls. He didn't look to take an easy way out. My only like knock on him is the round ends, third round ends, fight is over. And he puts his hands up like, that's mine, baby, that's mine. And he's pointing like, yeah. And he looks at his coaches like, yeah, I did it. And it's like, maybe you did, but by the bare minimum, like the absolute bare minimum, you may have done enough. And then McConico goes, damn, and he puts his hands on his hips and he sinks his head down and he shakes his head like McConico feels he lost the fight. And Brundage is ultra pumped up and convinced that he won the fight. And for the spectators at home and the 12 people that were in the Apex, I could go either way, man. Like, it's not convincing. Yeah, that's mine. I won that. So when it went to decision, I kind of half thought that they would give it to Brundage. But if I'm judging the fight, I gave the first and the third to Eric McConico. So they said it was a split. It's like I always assume the worst in these situations. I've been not screwed. This is not a screw job. I've lost a lot of splits. I've been on the other side of a lot of splits. So when they were like split, they'll give it to Brundage. Gave it to McConico. Cool. I'll take it. Do I agree with it? Yeah. I gave him 1 and 3, but this is not. This is a split that could have very easily gone either way. You see, Brundage outstruck McConico overall. Brundage had the 3 takedowns. Those 3 takedowns, he converted 5.5 minutes of control time. But look at the total strikes, okay? And people often forget that. The total strikes is 54 to 43. Brundage is just holding him up against the cage. McConico's elbowing him in the face. McConico's punching him in the side of the head 3-4 times. Brundage is holding him. So, yeah, you got to do a little bit more in a fight. And so for Brundage to be, oh, what, I got robbed in this fight, he's all upset afterwards from the split decision. Dog, he didn't do shit. So how could you feel so comfortable with it? Anyways, that's the first fight. We move on. We got Gabriel Fernandez taking on Julia Stoliarenko. Now, I did top ticket Gabriel Fernandez, which wasn't a great idea. And even in hindsight, she won, whatever. It still wasn't a great idea. My issue is that she was only minus 400, which is a bad price. But like by comparison, Elijah Smith is minus 800. Julius Walker, who was way worse than that, he was minus 750 by the end. Steve Ersig, and geez, that one was really close. He was minus 600. They're just, she felt safer than them. And I know it's women's MMA and it was a bad price tag, minus 400. It's just there was more value in that than Ersig 200 points higher. And it's a parlay game. And I got to squeeze some value from time to time. And this is not necessarily value, but whatever. It's just, I just had to go with it. So the first round starts and it's like, okay, please make this look good. Because yeah, I mean, it's no shock that like every week I've got like one guy. I could have a 9 and 3 week, but it's like someone I put too much trust in ends up being the apple pie shitter, and it's a letdown. It's a letdown for me, and obviously it's a letdown for people that tail it. I see comment, people are upset, whatever, it's out of my hands. If this girl goes out and loses the second fight on the card and ruins another week, like it's done. It's not over for me. I'm not that depressed, but I just mean like it's a real bad look. So I really needed Gabby Fernandez to go there and do something. In the first round, she's not really doing anything. In fact, the first like 3 minutes of the round, you can argue that it's a pretty 50-50 round. Stoliarenko's got real bad athleticism. Like the way she just kind of bobs around in there, she's very herky-jerky, very predictable. Obviously, because she comes from a judo base, she's trying to lead with that lead leg and then kind of get off to a hip, grab you, look for a judo toss. She attempted a few takedowns, 6 in total, but never really got a whiff. That first round, she's mostly just trying to close some range, throws a few high kicks, tries to line her up with a few right hands. But Fernandez is a little bit faster. She's a little bit slicker. She's a little bit longer. She's just not doing anything. So it's still a close round. You got more skill. You got more talent. You're just not really pressing the action. It's similar to I just shit on Cody Brundage a little bit. Like if you want to definitively say, I won this round, you kind of have to maybe do something definitive here. And maybe about a minute left in that first round, Fernandez lands a body kick. She's been fighting southpaw fight. She's a southpaw fighter, so obviously. Anyways, left body kick, boom, hits Stoliarenko. Stoliarenko's visibly hurt. She follows it up with a barrage, 10-punch combination, most of which miss or get blocked, but it looks good visually. It's the only thing that really happens in the round. This is a hands-down first round, Gabriela Fernandez. The second round it's a lot closer, right? The biggest difference is that there's a lot of blood coming from the face of Stoliarenko. Like there's a cut that opens up. Otherwise, Stoliarenko's pressing forward and she's landing shots. Again, she's being outlanded and the damage has been caused, but she's throwing more. Doesn't mean you're winning. She's throwing more and she's moving forward and she's having a much better round, in my opinion. First round was 19-19. That last barrage sealed the deal. This one, it's very much close too. There's just not that big barrage. It's the cut. So getting out of that second round, it's like, okay, we're up to Stoliarenko. If she's going to submit you, it's probably going to be in the first round with that armbar. The fact that that hasn't happened yet, all we need to do is survive this third round. Meanwhile, but you're on the top ticket, you're minus 400, and you're taking on Julie Stoliarenko. It's not enough to just survive the third round. You got to kind of go put an exclamation point on this one. And she loses the third round in a striking match to Julia Stoliarenko. Well, what if Stoliarenko didn't get that cut in the second and just threw a little bit more? She maybe could have won the second. And then she did win the third. And then this is like closer to a minus 175 Gabriela Fernandez than a minus 400. Put it on your top ticket. So like people will say, oh, thanks, man. You gave me a great pick and whatever. This top line hit or I made some money. And this is a game where like weird things like this happen all the time. I'm happy to take this one. But Gabriela Fernandez moving forward, I don't have any confidence in her at all. And for Stoliarenko, I imagine she'd get cut, or even if they don't cut her, she's serviceable enough. She fights all 3 rounds. She comes forward. She bleeds all over the place and constantly tries to be the aggressor and line you up and throw some volume and has a bit of a left-way background. Plus, she's got this cool little armbar thing up her sleeve. Like, I think she's serviceable from an entertainment standpoint. I'm just not obviously going to bet Stoliarenko, but for Fernandez, this wasn't some great performance. She won, and I'm very thankful that she won. I'm very thankful that it was 2-0 going into the third round, and I didn't have to have an ulcer watching her lose the third round and Stoliarenko. Oh my God. Anyway, we squeak through, we move on, but G Fernandez, not in my good book. Just from like, yeah, she's in my great book. She bailed me out here. Just from maybe a betting standpoint going forward, you got to see who she's matched up against, but overall, totals, she got outstruck 61-59 to Julia, an armbar judo practitioner, not really known for her striking. It's just not the greatest look going. Gilbert Urbina versus Euros Medic. This is my first dog shot on Gilbert Urbina. Just felt that Euros Medic at minus 450. Very volatile style, capable of getting knocked out, capable of doing some knocking out. It seemed at minus 450, just not like a responsible price tag to be betting him at. So I just kind of took a system play there too and took Gilbert Urbina, hoping that more often than not, maybe he intercepts him coming in. Urbina looked good on the scales. He's 6'3". He's got a 4-inch reach advantage as well. Maybe he just hits him before he gets hit, which is exactly what happened. Urbina hits him, floors him, beautiful, straight down the pipe. It looks like Medic is her. Like he hits the deck and then straight up kudos to this man. He just like on a trampoline, he just like hits the deck and pops right back up. I was like, oh damn, but we're looking good. We just dropped him, but I mean, he just popped right back up, and then he just returns fire on Gilbert immediately, and old Gilbert wasn't exactly going to pop back up the same way. He was out. Now, this was a fun 1 minute and 3 second fight. Unfortunately, I lost. Whatever. It was the least confident play of the week. He was right at the bottom. And beyond that, it's kind of played out how I thought. He's either going to kill the guy or get killed. There's a chance he intercepts him. There's a chance he just puts him away. Came this close. Just didn't work out, right? So you can accept that. The only thing I'll say about this fight is these guys got done dirty, right? Not necessarily Urbina. He got knocked out. But there's 5 finishes on the card, and they were all sweet. And 4 of them got $50,000 bonuses, and Medic didn't get one? This was an unreal knockout, man. Like an absolute savage knockout. And in a minute, and the crowd loved, well, what crowd? They're in the Apex. The people at home loved it. And Medic is 32 years old, doesn't exactly have like the greatest record in the UFC, isn't exactly making these big payday fights, isn't exactly going to co-headline. He's the third fight on a shitty little Apex card. He's originally from Serbia, then Alaska. Give him the $50,000, man. Is there not a guy that needs it more or needs it, a nice little boost in the arm, little slap on the ass? Like, he just deaded a guy, and it was a filthy knockout. Yeah, that's it. Tough break for Euros mentioned in that regard. On a betting standpoint, I got this pick wrong. And if you were to run it back, was it like, oh, if you run it back knowing what you know now, you'd still bet Gilbert because there's still that big plus money, and he almost knocked him out. He said, well, the difference is Euros might be chinny, but like you're gonna have to hurt him pretty bad consecutively. The Soriano fight, Soriano knocks him out in 31 seconds. He got dropped twice in the 31 seconds. And one, like the first one put him away, he got back up and then got pumped a whole bunch more times. That's the difference. Euros might be chinny, but you're still going to have to hit him 25 times in the face. Urbina's chinny, you may only have to hit him a few. So, I mean, like, Euros is obviously the pick in hindsight. He won the fight, and he's the better fighter, but just the line scared me off. Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Where I went wrong in this one is Jocelyn Edwards has been finishing girls lately. Like when you look at her first 4 fights in the UFC, Wu Yanan by decision, Ramona Pascual by decision, Ji Yun Kim by decision. This one, I mean, split. Lucy Pudilova by split. She's not a finisher. And you're winning split decisions over Ji Yun Kim and Lucy Pudilova. Like, you're not even all that good. Loses 2 fights in a row after that, but I mean, the comeback for Jocelyn Edwards has been tremendous. Now, mind you, she misses weight in like every other fight. She's a gigantic bantamweight. Like, I think that's almost her biggest thing. But yeah, finishes Tamiris Vidal with a 3rd round rear naked choke, finishes Chelsea Chandler with a 1st round TKO, and then goes out there against Priscilla Cachoeira and gets the knockout. As much as it's like Edwards is improving and Edwards is doing the damn thing, I figured Edwards by decision because Cachoeira is tough and Cachoeira is durable. And again, when you look at Priscilla, it's like her debut against Valentina Shevchenko, where she gets annihilated 95-2. It's all ground and pound. Her face is busted. There's blood everywhere. Her head's getting dribbled off the canvas like a fucking basketball. And then she bellies down and she gives up the rear naked choke. But man, this girl took a beating. Molly McCann, 107 times she lands on her to a decision. Luana Carolina, 111 times she lands on her to a decision. Jillian Robertson subs her, fair. Miranda Maverick subs her. Jasmine Jasudavicius subs her. She's never been knocked out. She's been knocked down a couple times, but, you know, this girl's still durable enough that I think she'll press forward and Edwards will take her down and grind her. And whereas she made it to the 3rd round against a great grappler in Jasudavicius, she made it to the 3rd round against a good, not great grappler in Miranda Maverick. If this fight just goes to the ground, she'll be able to survive it on the ground against Jocelyn Edwards, who's not better than those other 2 girls. This was as much Priscilla Cachoeira knocking herself out as it was Jocelyn Edwards knocking her out. Well, it was a beautiful KO, great timing. Edwards was landing the better shots prior to that, and she kept throwing this really nasty left hook. It's just that Priscilla was basically like, I feel like getting killed or killing somebody tonight. Why would you fight? We've all seen her fight before, but this was a highly irresponsible game plan. And Daniel Cormier even seen this thing going down in real time and was like, she's going to get knocked out by a left hook if she just keep, boom, left hook floors her to the ground. We like violence. We like entertainment. That's what the sport's based on. So, of course, not everybody's looking to bet something, and not everybody's looking to fade somebody or fade this or do that. Some people enjoy thoroughly watching fights, myself included, just on an entertainment standpoint. This is an entertaining way to fight. I'm just going to go out there with my hands at my hips. I'm going to launch absolute nuclear bombs from the waist-side, coming from weird angles, and just literally be the aggressor, move forward, go, 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 with my chin up in the air. And you seen the chin on this girl? It's a big old chin. I'm going to come at you, and I'm just going to allow you to tee off in response. And listen, Edwards is bigger than her, right? She's fought at 145, struggles to make 135. Priscilla's fought at 125. She's bigger than her. She's faster than her. She's stronger than her. So how do you think marching her down with your hands by your hips is going to work out for you? Yeah, not real good. Not real good. And it didn't. It didn't work out real good at all. Just stems to breaks. I had Jocelyn Edwards. I didn't think she would make it look this easy. I didn't really think that this was how the fight was going to play out. I thought she would just take her down and grind her a lot more. And then for women's MMA, she was also minus 385, minus 400 range. But if you could do it all over again, Edwards was a much better play than Gabriela Fernandez. Let's be straight up about that. Part of it is we did the weigh-in show as well, and Edwards got the curtain came out, and she didn't look like it was the easiest weight cut. But I mentioned it then. I'll mention it now. She's missed weight 3 times in her career already, and she usually looks pretty good when she misses weight. Solid win for her. I can't say it puts you in contention, but the division's very, very thin, and there's not a whole lot of exciting fighters, and she's now won 3 in a row, all 3 by finish. That goes a long way. Not saying she's getting a title fight next, not saying she's getting a contention match next. Jocelyn Edwards will get some type of good ranked opponent, good name in her next fight. I do believe that. Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. Man, god damn. So, yeah, listen, Smith's the biggest favorite on the card, right? He's minus 800. He's 22 years old. He's Gilbert Smith's son. He's been training since he's 5 years old. The kid can wrestle. The kid's a really good athlete. Striking coming along, puts good combinations together. Showed his last fight against Vince Morales. He's got good cardio. And also, he's got good submission defense. Got caught in a couple nasty anacondas. Was able to work his way out of it. So, I think Elijah Smith is one of those guys that when you talk about prospects, and it's like, oh, this guy just signed to the UFC from the Contender Series, and he's 27, and he's making his debut. He's a prospect, which is fair. This guy, he's debuting in the UFC. He's coming over from a smaller organization, and he's 29. He wins his first 2 fights in the UFC. He's a prospect. Like, those guys aren't really prospects. This guy's a prospect. He's 22 years old. He's already 2-0 in the UFC. Like, conceivably, if he fought twice a year for the next 5 years, twice a year is not even much, for the next 5 years, he's going to have 10 more fights, and he's going to be 27. And at that point, it's like you're still not even in the prime of your career physically. The top 15 guys are if you average it out, you take that average age of all the guys in the top 15 and girls, women weight classes are a little bit older even too. Heavyweights a little bit older. The champions are generally a little bit older, but it averages out to like 31, 32 years old. Champions, it's higher, again, as I mentioned. This kid's nowhere near his physical prime, and he's already winning fights in the UFC and demonstrating some decent skills. They're doing a good job of feeding him that lower level, and they're going to need to continue to do so. But if they have faith in him and they have belief in him, then they're not going to fast track this kid. Don't Sage North cut his ass. Let him fight a Brian Barberena like 3 fights in. Like, he's young, he's got a lot of skill, and he could be a star for you. Build this kid up. So this was a fight that he's obviously supposed to win. He's minus 800. But with Kazama, even though he's here to get knocked out, not necessarily like how it ended up going, but he doesn't got a great chin. Beyond that, he has a very nasty submission game, very opportunistic, goes for legs, goes for triangles, goes for arm bars, very quick with his setup. If he's going to possibly teach this young kid a lesson, it's going to be just catching him with a quick submission. So Elijah Smith probably best to just sprawl and brawl, but with Kazama, he doesn't give you a chance. I mean, the fight starts and he shoots right away on Smith. It's not that Smith's not a better wrestler. I mean, Kazama gets credited with the takedown. It's that he's not looking to take you down and get on top, and that's a clean takedown. He's looking to take you down, and immediately there's a transition where he'll just try to jump on your back, or try to throw up an armbar, or try to throw up a triangle, or try to fish for a leg lock, and then that's what he does. It's like, it's not a clean takedown. It's just, I'm going to tackle us to the canvas, create a scramble, and hope to grab a submission within that transition. Smith does a great job, right? I mean, he gets caught initially like a knee bar. The knee bar is not tight, but as he turns, it turns into a heel hook. You do see a grimace on his face, kind of like, not, oh my God, this hurts so much, but kind of like, he is trying to torque my leg. I need to address this. And he did an awesome job of addressing it. Again, he's flexible and he's athletic. So he was a lot of the times able to turn in to Kazama and then get off some really good ground and pound, avoids the leg lock. Then this nasty armbar gets thrown up. He avoids the armbar. He gets caught in like a mirror lock, which you don't see anymore. Frank Mir versus Pete Williams back in the day. He doesn't get that as well. And now so Smith's still just dribbling his head and just landing some good ground and pound. Kazama, who I don't think is very durable to begin with, he's taking all the ground and pound decently, but it's racking up. It's 37 significant strikes landed in 4 minutes of action. So, well, take away the 2 last ground and pound shots in the slam itself. Yeah, it's like 33 strikes he's landed. At this rate, you're going to get finished at some point. But Kazama's sticking with it, and then he throws up this triangle choke. Now, when you get caught in a triangle choke, there's 2 ways to go about this if you're going to slam your way out. If that's the choice you made. If you slam him, you're likely going to, knock this guy out in a really, really bad way. People will always say, oh, Rampage Jackson. But of course, you've seen it other times. That Zach Reese got powered bombed by Cody Brundage. PFL Africa, was it the PFL Mania card? That Mancinelli guy, the Italian guy, he tries to slam himself out of it. Carlos Newton versus Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes passed out, but all the same, he slammed him from a standing triangle position like that, it's gonna create a lot of damage. If it does not work, you are probably getting choked out by that triangle. Like, the motion of you slamming generally slams your head and arm further into the choke. It puts it about as deep as it can. Slamming is generally considered like a last case scenario. You can't even practice it because no training partner is gonna let you slam them like that, and it's not competition legal if you were to go to a grappling tournament. So, like, how do you even practice something like this? You don't, right? It's like a natural instinct. But if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so for when a minus 800 favorite lifts this guy up in the air, and it's like, all right, buddy, you better put this guy through for a real ride here, because if not, you're gonna be up shit's creek. And I think he knew as he lifted him up, this guy doesn't got that. It's not locked. And you can see it was loose. It wasn't like this is a locked in triangle. I'm panicking. I'm going to slam him. It was like, it was loose. I think he just knew I'm strong. I'm athletic. To pull off a maneuver like that, you have to be. I'm just going to boost this guy up and blast him. And I will not get caught in this thing. Yeah, he was completely right. I can't show you the replay because copyright reasons, whatever. But if you want to go watch it, watch back this fight on Fight Pass, let's say, or whatever you want to watch it, wherever, I don't care. He comes up, and you can see his foot. He comes right up on his tippy toes. Then he up in the air. Both feet leave the ground, and he slams him. It's about as gorgeous as you're gonna get. The only thing that could have possibly gone wrong is, like, he did his head did smash Kazama's head on the way down. I'm not saying that's what knocked him out, but it certainly didn't help. Like, a bad referee might have been like, "I saw that because it happened. I saw you head clash with this guy," which is an illegal move. Therefore, a head clash results in a KO. Could have been a no contest. Would not have been a DQ. Bad judge could have said, or a bad ref could have said it's a no contest, and the place would have gone wild. I would have gone wild. We'd have all gone wild. But yeah, like, that's the only thing wrong, maybe, that could have gone wrong in this fight. Outside of that, Elijah Smith did a good job. Listen, he defended a lot of submission attempts, did a solid job in that regard, and he's so young. I mean, he's developing, he's getting better. That's a solid account. Julius Walker versus Rafael Cerqueira. Yeah, this one wasn't exactly a good account. I'm gonna come to Julius Walker's defense here, though. Juice box, because yeah, there's a lot of people turning on him. Let me tell you. Oh, they are turning on him. This guy's green, man. He's real green. So when you're a big favorite and you're fighting a guy that's not good, there's a lot of expectations. You're supposed to run through this guy. And a lot of people may be using him top ticket, or a lot of people have him on their fundamental parlays of who is not going to lose this week. Well, Julius Walker, and he's got all this good stuff going with him. And he does. This guy's got less than 10 pro fights. Right? He's 26 years old, and he went to Jury University for basketball. He's a basketball player. Leaves that program, decides, hey, I'm an athlete. I like to compete. I'm going to pick up MMA. Since picking up MMA in 2020, right? It's 5 years ago. Coming up on 6 years, but coming up on 6 years ago. I don't think it's gonna be super easy. You see him lose fights as an amateur, he's learning on the spot. Look at all the fights he had between 2020 and 2022. He fought 10 times. 10 fights in 2 years. You're learning. Guys 0-1, guys 3-5, guys 0-3. Now, Niall Bartling was on The Ultimate Fighter at heavyweight, all nonetheless. But Von Lewis fought in the UFC. Myron Dennis fought for Glory Kickboxing. These are nice little wins to build yourself up. But now you're 6-0 and you're in the UFC. 26 years old, which is young. I've been doing MMA for 5 years, let's say, and you're fighting guys like Alonzo Menafield. I just think the expectation. Put it this way: he was supposed to fight Mark Courier twice, right? And he got signed to fight Menafield instead. Okay, so you go from fighting Mark fucking Courier, dog. Look at them titties. You go from fighting Courier to fighting Alonzo Menafield and held him to a split decision. Again, there's expectations that you're supposed to be good. It's a little bit too much too soon. So because he hung with Menafield and it was a split decision and it's a short notice debut, and you went from fighting not nobodies, but you went to fighting a lot less to fighting a tenured guy like Alonzo. Obviously, there's going to be this expectation of this guy's going to go there and look really good. So they give him Cerqueira, and he's a giant favorite. And Nobody should be minus 750 over nobody. I mean, this is the premier organization. These are supposed to be the best guys in the world. Even a guy like Kazama, who's a giant underdog, at least has an X factor that he can throw up a submission or something. Cerqueira didn't really seemingly have anything on paper, so it's okay. You should win, but you're young, you're green, you're taking on a different style. You're more training camps, and you may be a little bit injured, and you might be a little bit sick, and you may not have had a good sleep in the hotel last night, and your neck's a little bit kinked. And it's like when you're a 30 fight veteran or a 20 fight veteran, it's like this stuff has already happened to you. So you know what to expect. A young fighter, and this guy is very much still a young fighter, these things tend to phase you a little bit where it's like, oh no, I thought I was fighting second and now I'm fighting third and I warmed up too early and then I got cold and then I had to warm up again. Or, oh no, they played the wrong music. And, I had envisioned my walkout and I'm envisioning this moment and I spent so much time putting myself in that space and they played the wrong music and it threw me off. Like that happens to young, inexperienced fighters. The longer you go, you realize, well, I'm here to fight, not fucking dance. You're going to go out there. You may be a little bit injured. You may be a little bit sore. You may be a little bit sick, but you've experienced these things. You fought in a Dutch Muay Thai champion. You fought in a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt from Rio de Janeiro. You fought in some Turkish power puncher. You fought in a D1 All American. Like, then you know what to expect. You face different styles. There's something comforting within that. This is a guy in Julius Walker that's just not comfortable. He has less than 10 pro fights. He should be on the Contender Series. He should be on LFA fighting for the LFA title. Instead, he's chopping it up in a major organization where you're the biggest favorite on the card and fans are messaging you, you're a lock and you're going to win. And I don't know, I could see it being a lot of pressure. I could see it being a lot of pressure. And in this fight particularly, he did not thrive in that pressure. The first round, he just looks a little bit, in my mind, I'm thinking you want to strike, right? Like Rafael Cerqueira, we've seen in both of his losses, first round knockouts. Ivo Aslan just dropped. It was a big old uppercut, really rattled him. And then 50 seconds, done, right? His fight with Modestas Puskokis, first round knockout, less than 2.5 minutes in the first round, he's done. I thought, kind of watching Julius, even though he has good grappling, kind of thought that it's like he's going to use some length, some speed, some of that athleticism, fight a long man's game, come through the middle more than likely, hurt Cerqueira, and then pounce on him after that, put him away. The first round, it's like I think he felt Cerqueira's power right off the hop. And to Rafael's credit, when he showed up at weigh-ins on Friday, he was deezed up. I mean, I get he's 35, 0-2 in the UFC, but like this guy looks very young. He's very well put together, muscular guy. He's just had no luck in the UFC to this point. Does that make him a bad fighter? No, but he's had really no luck. The first 2 minutes of this fight, first 90 seconds of this fight, he seems to have the speed advantage over Walker. He's got a striking advantage over Walker, comes through the pocket, hits him with a couple nice little right hands. That's what causes Julius Walker to shoot these takedowns. Now, it looks money, right? 3 for 4, 3.5 minutes of top control. Not a whole lot with the ground and pound, but he was looking for the submission constantly, maybe trying to frame up an arm triangle choke, or maybe trying to work his way to his back to see if he could grab a rear naked choke, or maybe just trying to grab mostly chokes from the top position, but he wasn't really ground and pounding him all that much. The theory here is that Cerqueira is chinny. The guy can't take a shot. You're not putting damage on him. You're just fishing for his neck and exerting a lot of energy. 3 for 4 on takedowns looks good, but that's a lot of energy. So he wins the first round, but for a minus 750 favorite or whatever you got him at, minus 600, whatever his opener was, it wasn't exactly the easiest round going. Second round, much better. He just gets one takedown. Cerqueira looks like he accepts it. 13-1 on the significant strikes, 48-6 on the total strikes. This is a one that easy money. So now you're up 2-0. So now with Walker, it's like, well, he doesn't look tremendous. The second round was much better. Yeah, okay, he's going to win this fight and no one's going to feel too hard pressed about it. But in the third round, it's like this fight just divulged into complete insanity. He got hurt twice. He dropped Cerqueira in that same round. He was very noticeably tired. He got some desperation takedowns. He racked up some control time. But he noticeably got hurt twice standing. Wins the round, for my money's worth, it's a 30-27. One judge gives it a 30-26. But it's just, you're taking on the perceived worst guy in the division, and you're perceived as a top 15 candidate that not top 15 right this very moment, but a candidate, someone that's going to break into the rankings, at some point in the near-ish future. So I just see where there was a lot of like letdown online of, oh, he didn't look good, or oh, I will fade him the next time around. I think you take this back and you say, hey, I just got 3 more rounds of hard action, and I took some punches, and I got hurt, and I had to roll with it, and I had to get some takedowns, and I had to, I scored a knockdown, and that knockdown is to carry a dog in his ass, and he gets countered. So it's like he still had eyes on him. He was still with it. His heart, he showed a lot of heart. That's all good stuff, man. He's not 34 with 20 pro fights. This guy's a write-off. He's 26 years old, second fight in the UFC, eighth fight of his career. I think he'll be just fine. He's just gonna need some more time. He's 11 years younger. Sorry, he's 12 years younger than a guy like Eric Anders. You can't tell me he won't surpass a guy like Anders down the road. I don't. Talking about Eric Anders, Christian Leroy Duncan versus Eric Anders. I, I got a soft spot for Eric Anders, and that I like the guy, former defensive captain, national champion in football for Alabama, the Crimson Tide. The guy, he manages fighters. He's a gym owner. I've met him in real life, had a good conversation with him. Really, really, really good, humble guy, loves the sport, loves helping people. Eric Anders is a wicked good head of hair. This guy's life is just fine, right? He's one of the good guys. This is just a tough send-off, right? It's a tough send-off, and then sometimes, they'll say, oh, a Jim Miller gets a nice send-off, or one of these. Jim Miller still fights for the organization. You get what I'm saying? But they'll give an aged fighter, this is one good fight to go off into the sunset on. Or a Dustin Poirier, that's not an easy fight against Max Holloway, but we're going to give you this one moment. Anders obviously never got to that level. He doesn't deserve this big moment, but they could have given him a little bit easier of a fight. And it's not like Eric Anders couldn't have beaten Christian Leroy Duncan 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. It's that at 38, with one foot out the door and a bunch of business endeavors and a really hard weight cut to 185 pounds, he looked awful on the scale. This wasn't the right fight to set up for him. And when I just mentioned all this whole Julius Walker and give the guy some time, leave Julius alone. Very much, it's kind of the same thing with the Christian Leroy Duncan, who's now 30. Don't get me wrong, he's 4 years older. But he's much of the same of when he came to the UFC. He's got 7 fights. He's got 7 fights in his pro career, and he's 27 years old. He's 1 year older than Julius, and he would have had 1 fight more than Julius. And it's like, oh, dude, he lost to Armin Petrosian. He looks so bad. He just ate so many leg kicks. Dennis Tulin, that's a low-level win. Claudio Ribeiro, that's a low-level win. And then Gregory Rodriguez makes him look out of place. It doesn't mean these guys are bad. They're just inexperienced. I got 10 fights. You got 20. I'm a BJJ purple belt. You're a black belt. Like, you need some seasoning. So it's nice to see a guy like Christian Leroy Duncan start to build himself up. Now, the UFC is doing the right thing. Dennis Tulin is bottom of the barrel. Claudio Ribeiro, he just had a hell of a win on the regional scene. But at this level, whatever UFC level is these days, he's bottom of the barrel. Andre Pulayev, he also just picked up a decent win over Nick Klein the last weekend, but he's not good. And Eric Anders is just about to retire. But you're building a guy up. He's experiencing more things. He's going to be better because of it. And in my opinion, physically, Leroy Duncan looked really good. His movement was solid. He looked a little bit flat-footed against Pulayev. He had a lot more bounce this time around, allowed Anders to come forward, and then he could just rip him with the counter. Eric moves back. He can he can keep him on the end of those shots and just rip him. He was hurting him a bunch of times, but it's this trickiness to him, He's looking to spin. He's looking to throw a spinning back elbow. He's looking to throw a spinning back fist. He's looking to hit you with there was an eye poke, I'll admit. And when Anders was like, yeah, I'm good to go, his eye was noticeably red. Then there's a groin kick. Anders is a tough guy. He's like, okay, I'm good. Then there was a spinning back kick. I'm sure it was meant to go to the thigh or the body or something, but it also looked like it glanced off of Anders. The thing is for Anders is now you've been poked in the eye, now you've been kicked in the dick, and now you had this spinning thing come at you, which may have also partially clipped you in the dick. You just don't know where anything's about to come from next. And then so he sets him up with the spinning back elbow, clips him, nasty follow-up shots, puts Anders away. A combination like that probably puts a lot of guys away, considering you spin and then there's a high kick and then there's some follow-up shots. And this guy's a lot faster than you. You're both very fresh. It's early in the round. This guy's strong. He's as fast. And you just, before you're able to give him a chance to recover, he puts you away. It was solid. It was a solid victory in that regard for Christian Leroy Duncan. Over on the Discord, and I'm not trying to toot my horn on this one because I lost a bunch of these chase the first round finish props. But yeah, Leroy Duncan, Paul and I discussed it on the Bookie Beatdown show Wednesday, which is that Eric Anders has been knocked down in his last 3 fights coming into this fight. Barrio drops him in round 1, but he ended up surviving for a decision. Jamie Pickett dropped him in round 1, and he ended up surviving for a decision. Chris Weidman drops him in round 1. Eric Anders ends up coming back and putting him away. So we bet that Christian Leroy Duncan knockout round 1 prop. And I wouldn't say, it was so easy. He had to throw like a spinning back elbow to get the thing done. But yeah, he just, and it was near the end of the first round. Like this wasn't, this thing hits 10 out of 10 times. It's that flying knees, spinning back elbows, spinning hook kicks. They're low percentage moves. But if they land, they're like the most devastating moves you can land. So in this case, it worked out. And it's hard to see Anders go out like that. I personally, I didn't catch. Did he officially retire? Did he put his gloves down? I didn't notice that. I was kind of trying to watch some BKFC as well. But if this is his last go, hey man, you had a hell of a career. You really did. And you're a 2-sport athlete. You played football. You had NFL tryouts. Didn't play in the NFL, but had gotten to a pretty high level in football. And then you've gotten to the highest level ish, didn't fight for a title or anything, but a premier organization, hell of a career. He'll be a good manager. He'll be a good coach. He'll be a good training partner. But these guys are younger, faster, stronger, and you keep losing his touch every time. We'll talk about Angela Hill when we get there. It's like it's a buildup of just eventually time takes over, right? Anders looked a little bit slower. Leroy Duncan looked like he's now a 15-fight vet and now starting to fall into himself and put these skills together. He's got power. He's got solid footwork. His clinch game looked a lot better, not only in the Pulaya fight, but in this fight too. Like Eric Anders did take him down, and he was able to scramble and get back up almost right away. And then in the clinch, digging underhooks, landing short elbows. I thought it was a really good performance at a CLD. So happy to see him get the win. Unfortunately, Eric Anders had to be on the opposite end of that and pick up the loss, but serviceable all the same. I appreciate you, sir. Moving on, John Masamoto versus Miles Johns. It wasn't an easy fight either. I'd love to see the post-fight drug test to see if Miles John was on Turinabol, because he was fighting like Turinabol Johns again, whereas like his cardio was actually pretty decent, and he was fighting with some decent pace and shooting takedowns, mixing it up, letting his hands go. This got to be, I don't want to say career high, but it could be a career high. 83, 80 was his previous best. He fought as good as he ever has. He landed the most strikes he ever has in a UFC fight. He landed the most takedowns he ever has in a UFC fight by a wide margin. This was by far the best version of Miles Johns I've seen in quite some time. Solid. Masamoto, meanwhile, I mean, he's a little bit different when we're talking about a Julius Walker, and he's young. And we're talking about guys that are, maybe a Christian Leroy Duncan when he first broke into the UFC. Masamoto's young. He's only 25, but he's got 18 fights. So, like, he's a little more along the line of kid's going to make improvements. Kid's going to get better. But you can't use the excuse of, like, he's just green. Like, no, he's fought plenty. He knows exactly what fighting's all about. He's physically can mature. Technique can improve. But, like, the fight aspects, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. And in this case, is that he struggled with Casey Tanner taking him down twice and landing a ton of shots on the Contender Series. Dana Argueta didn't land no shots, but had he not gotten choked out with 1 second left, Dana Argueta would have been up 2 rounds. He was gassed, but he would have been up 2 rounds. 9 takedowns. It was a tremendous pace. Brad Katona with the 3 takedowns. Miles John, he replicated that game plan. And again, I thought his cardio checked out really well. He was able to conserve himself. It just seems like first round Miles John, right? Lands the better shots, lands the 1 takedown. He wins the round. It's not like Masamoto is some giant favorite, but he's the expected favorite. He's like minus 250. This week, for building parlay purposes, it was like, well, everyone on the card is a big favorite, right? I forgot to switch back that tab, apparently. Yeah, I'm just really bad with this technical. You guys know, technology, little Cody, don't knock together. When you look at this card, it was mostly big favorites. Like, Hernandez was a big favorite. Ersig was minus 600. Christian Leroy Duncan is minus 450. Walker is minus 750. Elijah Smith's minus 800. Jocelyn Edwards is minus 400. Euros Medic was minus 450. Gabriel Fernandez is minus 400. So, like, because John Masamoto was like minus 220, minus 240. Christian Rodriguez was minus 220, minus 240. It felt like you had to go with one of these two guys for a value. You could take the dog in either one of those was a good play too, obviously. But it was like that was going to be your value. So when I saw people that had the losing night, it was largely because Christian Rodriguez lost. John Masamoto, meanwhile, for my parlay purposes, I went with him thinking he may have the slightly easier time. Watching this fight with John's, I was kind of half regretting it. Masamoto squeaked this one by. There's a good argument he lost it. No doubt he loses that first. Then you just look at these next two rounds, right? 34-35. Johns gets the one takedown. There's no control time. To me, Masamoto landed the better shots. The round's close in terms of the amount of shots that they're landing, but he's kind of digging to Johns' body. He's keeping him at the end. He landed a bunch of head kicks that they were blocked, but they were still landing hard on the forearm. Visually, they looked good. But this is a razor close round. And then in the third round, again, Masamoto is landing more shots. The total shots, he's outlanding them. But Johns is just pressing him with this action, shooting multiple takedowns, grinding him up against the cage, slowing this thing down when need be. I felt that Masamoto won the fight. I thought he won rounds 2 and 3. It just felt like this was a real close fight that in certain ways I've already gotten a squeaker split decision go my way on the Eric McConico fight. Well, this is split decision 2 incoming, and it's like the McConico one didn't mean that much to me, being that it was way further down. Masamoto, I got a lot more, stock into. I needed to get this split decision go our way. And then sure enough, he ends up getting it. But Miles John fought a hell of a fight in terms of this was the best he's ever performed. And I thought he did a real good job. Masamoto, meanwhile, you're still young. You're still improving. You're picking up quality victories over respectable guys like Miles John. But they can't fast track this guy. Like, he's not ready for that next level beyond Miles John. He probably needs to fight a few more of these fringe top 25 guys before he looks to break into the rankings. And time is on his side. He's got plenty of that. But I can't definitively say that this was a fine John Masamoto performance as much as he showed that he knows how to get the win. He has some resolve. He lost that first round. He made those adjustments in the second or the third. But if the second goes against him and he's down 2 rounds, then he doesn't finish Johns in the third round. Who knows? As much as I gave the second round for Masamoto, I think if you were to watch it back, it's close. It's a close round. So split, I get. If we would have lost it, I would have felt hard pressed by it, but I don't think I would have screamed rob. I would have cried robbery and been like, "Oh no, it was a good pick and the judges got it wrong." Yeah. Johns gave him a go, and Masamoto just kind of looked like a tad bit flat. Talking about tad bit flat. This was a good fight as well. Just like Christian Rodriguez really thrives at fighting prospects. I forget who it was in the Discord. They're like, if he's not fighting a teenager, he's no good. And that's kind of one way of putting it, man. Austin Bashy's UFC debut. He's like 22 years old. Isaac Delgarian, he's not young, but it was his second fight in the UFC, right? Cameron Simon was 22 years old. It's his third fight in the UFC. Raul Rosas Jr. is quite literally 18 years old. Those are the guys that he has thrived on, is the young. And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse just bringing this Julius Walker thing up. It's just because we've just recently talked about it in the last half hour or so. These young prospects, sometimes you expect too much out of them. And a good prospect killer, a savvy veteran, not Cody Brundage, but a savvy veteran, some guy that's going to come out here and then show you a few lessons. That those are the guys that can win. Christian Rodriguez has got a little bit of veteran savvy to him. He fights a really well-rounded game plan. His wrestling, it's not top-notch, but it's good. And his striking, it's not top-notch, but it's good. And his cardio and his durability, they're fairly top-notch. His cardio didn't look good in this fight, but, historically it's been good. His durability is real good. It's just at 135, he's a weight bully. He's a problem. At 145, he's undersized, man. He's undersized for sure. And the loss is Julian Erosa is a tenured veteran, right? Jonathan Pierce, right? How many? 21 pro fights and 33 years old, right? Milk Costa. Milk Costa's got 31 pro fights, right? So those guys he's largely struggled against. And when you see an Andre Fili who's got 20 plus fights in the UFC, he's got 38 fights overall. He's 35 years old, 5'11" with a 74-inch reach. I mean, he's like 4 inches taller with a 3-inch reach advantage. How I missed this one is my bad. Is my bad. It was like and people will say, "Dude, good job. You put Christian Rodriguez so low. Like you sense that there was danger. I should have taken Fili, man. He's way bigger. He's a real 145er, twice, 3 times the amount of experience. When you look at Andre Fili's fights, it's like Mil Costa as well. He's beat both of them, so he's good. Cub Swanson is a tenured veteran of the division. Dan Ige is a top 15 gatekeeper to the stars. Nathaniel Wood, Bill Algeo, Dranison Brito, Bryce Mitchell, Charles Jourdain, Sodi Qusif. Yeah. The biggest thing for this one, in my opinion, was the jab. It was the jab from Fili. That was the moneymaker. The first round will show Christian Rodriguez outlands him slightly, 29-22, and gets a quick little takedown for 35 seconds. But Fili was just like really cool, calm, collective. He fought and used every bit of that reach advantage, that height advantage. He allowed Christian Rodriguez to try to crash the pocket and then would just, stifle him and interrupt him halfway every single time, over and over again. The second round, Christian Rodriguez also lands him 29-23. If you're just looking at numerics, there's an argument that Christian Rodriguez is winning this fight, right? He's outlanding him in these fights. No, man, that jab, it's a stinking jab and it's doing damage. And when I mean damage, by the second round, Rodriguez's face is a mess. He's not cut, he's not hurt, he's not fallen over, he's not discombobulated. It's just straight bruising. His forehead's bruised, his eyes are bruised, his cheeks are bruised. He is a bruised up guy just from this piston jab that has been feeding him in the face over and over. He's 5'7", trying to constantly crash the pocket. He's just running into the shot. Yeah, by the numbers, he's slightly landing a little bit more, but a guy reaches with a left hook, a guy puts a right hand to the body, and a guy lands a leg kick. You don't see the leg kick. You don't see the shot to the body. And the overreached left hook that maybe partially got blocked or got grazed, it's something. The whole sequence looks good. In exchange, as you throw this, he stiffs you one right in the face. Your head kind of snaps back, and then there's instant swelling and bruising. That don't look good. I thought Fili fought an excellent game plan. Christian Rodriguez again in the third round. He's got to press the action on this. Fili goes to his wrestling. Like, talk about a veteran. And that's what I mean by veteran presence, is that you may be up 2 rounds, Andre Fili, but it could be 1-1. This thing could be 1-1. I've struck with him almost exclusively to this point. Shot 0 takedowns in the first, very half-hearted 1 takedown in the second, 0 second. Like, just, it was barely even a takedown. And then in the third, 3 for 4, almost 2 minutes of control time mixed in with some decent jabs. Keep this guy off bay. Beautiful fight. Beautiful fight in that people will say it wasn't that entertaining. And it wasn't. No, it was very smart. It was very calculated. It's what a 35-year-old, 37 fight veteran is supposed to do. If you want to be a Michael Johnson, or you want to be a Davy Grant, or you want to be D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, just be Kevin Holland. If you want to be one of these like older fighters, you got to use your brain. You can't just rely on athleticism and power and bravado every time. And so this is what he did, and Christian Rodriguez fell right into it. So split, and I heard some people, well, the 30-27. I mean, I get it. I get all scores. It was a close fight in its own way. When you look at the total strikes, Rodriguez had landed him 83-64. Rodriguez 1 takedown, but about the same amount of control time, spread out. One was all in the third round, one was, a little bit in the second. Yeah, it was a close fight. Just when it went to split, I'm pretty certain that Fili's getting this win. I did see a few people complain online, like, "Oh man, my bad luck." It's like, I don't think it was bad luck. I think Fili won the fight. Looking at it on paper, if you didn't physically watch the fight, it's like, oh man, I can't believe we lost that split decision. But in actuality, it's like, what's the biggest scoring criteria? The damage. And there was a whole lot of damage being done here. So I agree with Christian Rodriguez getting that win. Sorry, with Andre Fili getting that win using the jab. And I'll be 100% honest with you. Between these 2 split decisions, I really needed one to go my way. And I'll take it on John Masamoto. all goddamn day long. If I was gonna lose a split decision, I'm okay with losing it on Christian Rodriguez, which again, I put him way lower. Him losing ruined my McConico value for parlay purposes. McConico value was killed, for the PRP, so that sucked. But if there was going to be a trade off, I got to get a split decision to give a split decision. Well, whatever. I'm glad I got it in the Masamoto fight and not necessarily this Rodriguez fight. But listen, they're all close. But just like I said, system play with McConico, it's a really close fight. You'd rather be holding that plus 150, and it's a split decision. These are both really close fights. The Miles John plus money, the Andre Fili plus money, regardless of John's loss and Fili, let's say Fili did lose, that's still the right side, man. I mean, there's a lot of value there in a fight that played straight down the middle. So yeah, there's no, I don't know. Paul always says like you can still have a losing bet is still not necessarily a bad bet. I disagree because you never want to lose money, but I do see his point. And the longer time goes on, you understand it a lot more. It's like sometimes you're on the right side. It's like not everything is always going to fall into place or shake up the way you'd want to. Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. I can get through this one quick because this was the one fight I had to give. It was all the way at the bottom. The bottom was killed. I wanted to parlay fight goes the distance because it's an Angela Hill fight, but there's no value on it. It's a women's MMA fight. I just didn't particularly want to go down that road. But for Angela Hill at 40 years old, this is going to sound messed up, and it's messed up to me in my culture, but not across the world necessarily. But Angela Hill's old enough to be Yasmin Lucindo's mom because she's 17 years older than her. And I know that sounds whack, but like my wife, her mom had her when she was 16. So like it does happen. And in the way this thing played out is like Angela Hill's last fight, another split decision against Ketlin Souza, is she looked noticeably a lot slower. This is a girl that just used to have volume for days, footwork, constant pressure, and then she started mixing in her wrestling lately. 5 takedowns against Denise Gomez, 2 against Luana Pinheiro, 2 against Ketlin Souza. It's like she's relying on the wrestling more to slow these fights down because she doesn't have the speed anymore or really the cardio to hang out in the center and just throw down like she used to. Maybe it's compounded damage. She's seen a lot of shots in her day, but I think it's more so just it's a 115 pounds. It's a very lightweight class, and you're 40 years old, and you had a lot of fights. Like the vast majority of these 33 pro fights from her, the vast majority of them have been in the UFC. She was on the Ultimate Fighter. I think she was 1-0 as a pro. So yeah, Lucindo being 23 years old, she's born in 2002. Like, you don't even necessarily have to be that much better, as much as 17 years is a lifetime. So yeah, I had Angela Hill. Just watching this fight is she even regressed another notch, way slower, really struggled to get any of her shots going. It wasn't like her accuracy wasn't there. It's just that Lucindo was being hyper aggressive. So Lucindo comes in looking to throw 2 or 3. You can't just look to counter with one. You counter with one, she's hitting you with a counter of her own. So she tried to fight a smart game plan and kind of stick and move and stick at the jab as much as she could. She shot 5 takedowns to try to slow this thing down, but like Lucindo was just bigger, faster, stronger. Outstruck her in 2 of the 3 rounds. Angela Hill had a decent second round, and I thought there's a good case that Angela Hill won the second round, albeit not by a giant margin, but it was her best round. And then in the third, it's like Lucindo just takes right back over. This was really, again, the only round that she pursued the takedown. Got almost 4 minutes of control time with it, but that was the seal the deal round. Turns out 2 judges already had her up 2-0, so it would have been a split decision. Even had Angela Hill won that third round. But, for a young fighter like Lucindo, who's, I mean, I say young, 23, she got a pile of fights of her own. She's been fighting professionally since she's 15 years old. It's nice to still see that she's making some improvements. I can't say Lucindo had a career best outing as much as I can definitively say that Angela Hill looked about as bad as she has in a really long time. And I would say, the end is near in terms of her competitive career. She could do other stuff. I know she likes doing some color commentary. I know she likes, breaking down stuff. She's a great training partner. Maybe she's, opens up a gym somewhere. Maybe she does something, but like, it's tough to fight girls 17 years younger than you forever. And you just lost to one. And maybe the next girl's only 14 years younger than you. Maybe the girl after that's only 10 years younger than you. Maybe they find the second oldest girl in the division. You fight her and she's only 5 years younger than you. It's not a forgiving route. Paul always says it's a young man's sport. Well, it's a young woman's sport too, I suppose, in this scenario. And yeah, I mean, we all love Angie. She's very tenured. She's given us plenty of exciting moments. just wasn't one of their finest effort. Steve Ersig versus Ode Osborne. Ersig was another one of these big favorites all week that quintessentially, this is a flyweight fight. I get it. They fought at bantamweight. It's 135. Bottom line was this was very much two flyweight contenders. And what do we know about the flyweight division? Expect the unexpected. Very competitive fights. Anybody can win at any time. That kind of how this thing played out. I mentioned this on the show, but like when you look at Ersig, Brandon Moreno's orthodox, Kikar France's orthodox, Pantoja's orthodox, Schnell's orthodox, Costa's orthodox, David Dvorak's orthodox. Ode Osborne's the first southpaw that he had fought. And so being that Ode Osborne he's got a 73-inch reach on him, which was a 5-inch reach advantage over Steve Ersig, he's probably going to touch you with that straight left down the gut. He's got a speed advantage. He's got nasty power, especially early in these fights. And the same thing I said on the preview show this week on Wednesday for Bookie Beatdown. If this wasn't on short notice and you could think that Ode could fight later into the fight, then I think he's got a good chance of springing the upset. But because he was coming in on short notice, Ersig had a canceled fight. He had a full camp. Ode was getting the call on short notice that if he only had one round in him, he was knockout or bust in that first round. He may be able to finish Ersig in one, but if he doesn't finish Ersig in one, Steve's likely gonna pull on through. A lot of that played out to be true, but yeah, the first round again, there's no knockdown, but Ode Osborne absolutely just crisps him with one. Like, woof, beautiful shot. Steve, yeah, Kai Frost knocked him out. Seeing him get wobbled like that from Ode, I'm like, this guy is maybe he's chinny, maybe he's done, maybe he just can't take these shots no more. He does an excellent job of recovering. Definitely loses that first round, but he kept shooting these reactionary takedowns. He kept just trying to tie him up. He grabbed the single leg, even though he's nowhere near completing this single leg takedown. Just at least have one leg up in the air. This guy can't move. Have him in one single spot up against the cage. Clear the cobwebs. When he would scramble to the ground, it's just like, take a second. Don't take no damage. Pop back up. Like, keep fighting. You need to defend yourself. And he did exactly that. He did get a takedown on 5 attempts for a minute, and all that just helped was it slow it down. But Ode, of course, gets a takedown of his own. Looks like he's going to fish for a quick little rear naked choke. Ode's got a quick little submission game too, but it's usually in the first round. So when that first round ended, felt a lot better if you were a Steve Ersig backer. It did feel great. You just got your ass kicked in the first round. You undoubtedly lost it, and you're a minus 600 favorite against Ode Osborne. But knowing Ode's history of slowing down and knowing Ersig literally just fought 5 rounds in his last fight, doesn't really has fought 5 rounds a couple times, went 5 rounds with Pantoja, has a cast iron gas tank. Yeah, I think I felt a lot better after that first round. Going into the second round, it's like much of the same. Ode is not really slowing down. The fight getting moved from 125 to 135, that benefited Ode Osborne. He didn't have to cut weight. He's a big flyweight. So I think he had a much better gas tank. Even though he's on short notice, it's not like this guy just sits around on his couch all day watching TV. He was getting out there and he was getting it. He's going to the gym. He's just not in the process of cutting weight. So they say on 6 days notice, weeks notice, hey, can you start cutting weight? It's like, no, I can't. I'll just fight you right now when I'm walking around. Not even that. I'll cut 5 pounds or 10 pounds to 135 instead of some big old 20-pound weight cut to 125. I think it helped him out, and his cardio looked better. The problem in that second round is he got caught in this lull of, I don't want to gas out, therefore I'm not going to extend myself. In the first, it's like he hurt Ersig. He pounced on him. He tried to put him away. The second round, it was one and done with his punches. Yeah, it's close, but Ersig had a couple right hands that I thought got through that did a little bit of damage. And the 3 takedowns, it didn't get them, but almost a minute of control time. You're the aggressor, and stuffing takedowns scores no points. So if a guy goes 0 for 20 on takedowns on you, nobody lands a shot, he goes 0 for 20, you don't win the round for stuffing the 20 takedowns. He's likely winning the round because he was constantly shooting takedowns. He's the aggressor. It's the advantageous position. He's pressing you against the cage. He's fishing for stuff. It still scores in some way. So I scored the second round for Ersig, but the third round, it's like you really got to go out there and have a big third round because you could maybe be down 2. This not like this round 2 is a blowout by any means. We're basing it on landing one less strike, but maybe that right hand had a little more zip and going 0 for 3 on takedowns with less than a minute of control time. That's the difference maker to winning the round. So how can you feel good about it? You know you lost the first. You're being wishful and optimistic that you won the second, but I did score the second round for Steve Ersig ever so slightly. Third round, we need a big performance, and I thought he had a big performance. It's just it kind of went late. He got that takedown near the end of the third round, passes to Mount, and then from there, well, first he looks for a quick little rear naked choke, and O'Day does a good job. Like, he could have just tapped. He could have said, no bueno, I'm done. Instead, he like moves over to the side, creates that little bit of space, gets to a hip at least, and then Ersig just postures up and Mount starts to just rain down shots, and then the buzzer goes. So if there's like 40 seconds left in that round, if there's a minute left in the round, if there's I think he puts him away. Unfortunately, yeah, too little, too late. Not too little, too late. He won the fight. It's just too little, too late to get the finish. Good way to finish the third round. It's just you're throwing this thing up in the air that hopefully these two of these three blind as mice judges are going to favor you, which they did, which is fine. But it was a close fight, and he's a minus 600 favorite. Oh, tough times. But thankfully, he got the job done. I will say with Steve, it's like Steve beats David Dvorak, who I don't even know he's on the roster anymore. Costa I like, but he's not ranked. Matt Schnell, fan favorite of sorts, also not ranked. These are three non-ranked guys. And then he fights Alexander Pantoja, who's the third or fourth greatest flyweight of all time. I mean, people will say there's an argument he's the best, but I got him behind Henry Cejudo and Demetrius Johnson. Maybe he's better than Cejudo. Doesn't matter. This is one of the greatest flyweights of all time. And you gave him everything he could handle. He damn near won the fight. Small mistake in the fifth round cost him. And outside of that, you would have been a world champion. And Kai Frost beats you. Brandon Moreno beats you. Ode Osborne came within a whisker of, one, just knocking you out in the first round. Two, of squeaking out that second round and winning a 29-28 on you. So that's the problem with flyweight in a nutshell. And I say it all the time. The worst guy in the division can beat the best guy in the division seemingly on his best day. It's like it's an ultra competitive division. There's lots of scrambles. There's lots of strikes being exchanged. All the respect to Ode Osborne taking this fight short notice and giving a good account of himself, but that is the division. Ode Osborne was 1-3 in his last 4 fights, and he almost just beat a former legitimate title challenger in a good fight. By the numbers, outstruck him 35-20 overall. Like, again, numbers aren't everything. I'm just saying, Ode gave a good account of himself. Ersig won. I really appreciate it. I like that after that bad first round, he did what he had to do. I liked in the third round, it was like, oh, I got this all figured out. If this is a 5-round fight, Ersig annihilates him. But seeing him get hurt like that, it's like betting him in the future. It's like, okay, I'm not sold on his durability. His volume's a little low at times. He's a slow starter. So if he's not in a 5-round fight, he's prone to maybe dropping the first 2 rounds. But on a personal level, I really like Steve Ersig. I was really happy to see him win the fight. He's one of those good guys that we talked about. Good guys, you like to see them do good. And yeah, kudos to him for getting the win. Main event, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez. I knew this thing would be a drubbing if it could get to rounds 3, 4, and 5, but I fully expected the first round and 2 to be close and competitive. In that, Roman Dolidze is probably the best guy that Anthony Hernandez has fought, right? He's a legitimately ranked contender. He's headlined cards for the UFC, little fight night cards. He's fought 5 rounds a couple of times. He's fought some of the best guys of the division, and even though he's 37, he's on paper a better striker than Anthony Hernandez. and he also should be able to maybe stuff some of these early takedowns. Like, the thing with Fluffy is that he'll shoot a whole bunch. But look at, say, Brandon Allen, right? That first round against Brandon Allen, he went, well, I guess he went 1 for 2 with him. Oh, well, the real example here is Michel Pereira, a former welterweight, not known for his grappling. He went 1 for 8 on takedowns in that first round, right? 10 for 29 the course of the fight. But early, he sometimes struggles to get those early takedowns. What do you go with Kopylov? 1 for 11 on takedowns over Roman Kopylov in the first round. So you go 1 for 11 on Kopylov, 1 for 10 on Michel Pereira. I fully expected that, like, the first round or 2, he would probably struggle to get the takedowns. And if he struggled to get the takedowns, these rounds would be a little bit closer because Dolidze maybe having a bit of a striking advantage. But what you saw here is why it's a young man's game. Roman's not making any improvements. When you watch him fight, he is always a little bit stiff. He's a little bit stagnant, flat-footed. He's one of these brawling types. He'll come forward and he'll swing. And if you match him up with a Marvin Vettori, who is also a brawling type, who's going to stand in front of you in exchange, then he can do well against them types. Against guys that are fast-footed, quick hands, move around, agile, push a pace. Like, it didn't seem like it would be, and this is just my opinion or in my mind, the longer it went, the cracks were going to start to expose themselves. But early, I fully expected he'd be a little more competitive than this. Point being is that now 37, I'm not saying there's regression. There's just not a ton of improvements. The version that you saw against Vittori, that's what you're going to see again here tonight. And the next time he fights, it'll be the same one. And the one before the Vittori fight, it's the same one. That's just kind of what he does. Whereas you look at Fluffy Hernandez, this guy starts out as a striker. And then all of a sudden he's using jiu-jitsu to sub guys like Rodolfo Vieira. Then all of a sudden he's taking down guys multiple times and he's got nasty cardio deep in the gas department, keeps just pushing these pace. And then all of a sudden he's got a nasty submission game. He's going to take you down and sub you. And if he doesn't take you down or sub you, he can get some ground and pound off. And then what we saw in this fight is his footwork looked way better. His striking looked way better. Clean shots, straight punches. When you watch other Fluffy fights, he's a little bit unorthodox in that he'll throw from odd angles, hard to get a read on sometimes, crashes the pocket. Defensively, not super sound. In this fight, it's like, I can't say he's always got his hands up. He was marching him down sometimes, but it's like he figures out what the threat of danger is within the first 3 minutes. And if it's like, oh man, this guy can really crack, I need to shoot. If you can't crack or you fail to earn his respect, I just dog walk you. And that's what happened here. His striking looked on point. And of course, he had the wrestling. And of course, he had the pace. And of course, best cardio at 185 pounds. He's a poor man's Chimaev. And he might be a rich man's Chimaev. We don't know yet. But that style, Chimaev tends to tire. He's got power wrestling, power grappling, take you down and sub you right away. Fluffy's the opposite. He's got power wrestling, power grappling as well, but it's like, I'm just going to take you into deep waters. We're going to swim out to this buoy. And once we're in the middle of the ocean, I'm going to drown your ass. And there's nothing you can do about it because I'm a former lifeguard and you ain't know how to swim. That's what it feels like, man. This guy really puts it on, guys. I just thought for the first time he got off to a fast start, which is just unusual. First round wins it, doubles him up in the significant strikes, 2 for 4 on takedowns. The 50 seconds of control time, it's doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, right? You're constantly having to get back up. You're constantly having to shake free. You're constantly having to fight hands and break his grip and then dig an underhook and then pummel on the far side and then push him off and create some space. And as you're pushing him off, he smokes you with a short little right hand from the clinch. And then you take 2 steps back and he takes 2 steps forwards and he just re-engages you. Oh my God. It was tough to watch for Roman because it felt like watching somebody drown. What can you possibly do? And Roman's a black belt. And I had Fluffy by decision because I just thought Roman's, even if Roman loses, he's tough enough to take it. You knew he wasn't making it to decision based on there was a pace being set that he just wasn't going to be able to keep up with, is the bottom line. Second round, it's like Fluffy doubles him up, 3 more takedowns. Third round, Fluffy quadruples him up, 3 more takedowns. By the 4th round, it was like, oh, man. When he grabbed that rear naked choke, it was just like, Roman, just end it already. And he did. Fluffy Hernandez. I want to see the rankings here. Fluffy could be the best guy in the division. Like, it's not like, oh, man, you're just saying that now. It's like, no. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of Fluffy Hernandez fans out there that are like, his cardio is just so goddamn good that as long as he can avoid getting knocked out, like the Kevin Holland fight where he got hurt to the body, the Michelle Pereira fight, he got hurt to the body. There's no doubt that he may be a little bit soft to the body. Short of you making him shit his pants with a liver kick or something like that early, oh man, you're in it for it. Dreykus is a world champion. You know, he's capable of beating the best guys in the world. So it's not like Fluffy could walk right through him. I think he could keep it competitive. I think he can win the fight. It just, at this point, Dreykus is the champ. You're not putting him in that fight right away. Imavov, I think he takes Imavov's soul. I do. Chimaev, I mean, yeah, give me a few more fights and then Fluffy's striking's even better. And I don't know. I think stylistically, I like that fight. Fluffy versus Strickland, Fluffy all day. Fluffy versus Izzy, easiest fight you've ever seen. Fluffy versus KO Barahau, because KO's very big and can grapple as well. I would say that's a good fight. But in a 5-round fight, and that's the key to these. Like Brandon Allen won the first round with Fluffy. He was able to sweep. He was able to get on top. He was able to have a little bit of grind. Couldn't KO do the same thing? Yes, he could. But in a 5-round fight, Now you've got to do that 3 times. Maybe round 1, maybe round 2. Rounds 3, 4, and 5 is fluffy all day. Yeah, Ritter to Ritter, I think he beats. I think that's who he called out. And then obviously he's ranked number 8 at right below that. Yeah, I would say very bright future for Fluffy Hernandez. Shown that, this is a guy that's capable of going out there and not just beating up guys that are, oh, this guy's a former gatekeeper, or this guy's a journeyman, or this guy's an undersized middleweight. Like, it's one thing to take down guys 10 times in a fight. That shouldn't be there. Mark Diakese, our joke little used to be D1 Diakese, because all of a sudden this guy's getting 9, 10 takedowns in a fight. But it's like, but against who? Mike Davis went through a little spell there where he was taking guys down 6, 7, 8, 9 times in consecutive fights. But against who? Can you do that against the upper echelon guys? Because eventually you run into these. Maybe you struggle as soon as you get into the top 15. Maybe you struggle once you get into the top 10. Maybe you struggle once you get into the top 5. Maybe you struggle once you fight the world champion. Maybe you're the best in the world, but like, there's always going to be levels for every fighter. Everyone's at a different level. There's going to be like a where's your limitation. So Fluffy, this is a quality victory because now he shows I can do this exact same style that I've been doing to lower level guys. I can do this to upper echelon guys as well. And when you look at the division, it's like, I think he matches up really well with a lot of them. You could continue to build him up. You can give him a Jared Cannonier or a Marvin Vittori or someone of that ilk, I guess. But to me, it's like, yeah, this guy is confident. He's on a nice winning streak. He's entertaining. People want to see striking. People want to see violence. People want to see a quick knockout. This, to me, is very, very entertaining. A guy marches forward, lands some shots, and then constantly just takes you down and slaps you up. He don't take you down to hold you down. He's not trying to Cody Brundage, you're up against the cage. He's just going to hold you. The ref's sitting there being like, hey, work. Has to break you up, separate you twice. Like, no. He's like got a Merab style. And the ironic part is Merab Dvalishvili was cornering Dolidze. So you had to sit there and be like, yeah, well, I know just as well as this guy knows. This is the way to win fights. And just like Michael Phelps is born, he's got like webbings in his fingers and his joints are like super long. It's like he's built like a fish. And other people are born, they got like a, and not an extra lung, but an extra big lung. And it's like they can just like inhale more oxygen. Like, some people were just put on this planet to do certain things. I'm not saying Fluffy was born to be a fighter, although likely he's found his exact thing and this is it. Is that he was meant to do some type of endurance sport where it's like everybody else croaks over and dies and you're just starting to get warmed up because this guy's got impressive cardio. So yeah, Rolls-Royce engine, very deep in the cardio game, and cardio is king. So quality victory there from Fluffy Hernandez. Continues to get the job done. Anyways, honestly, that's it for me. I've probably been rambling too long, but it's Sunday morning. I'm having time. The kids went to go visit grandma. Let me tell you, what a clutch day that is for the SAF man. Do I get a little time to myself? But anyways, that's it. I'm going to go enjoy it now. You enjoy it as well. Hope you guys are able to cash this weekend. If not, well, we'll try to put something together next week and do the damn thing all over again. So that's it for me. Take care. Enjoy your Sunday. All the best, guys.